right? So he has to be common from someone on top of the tank. And that must make it difficult to drive in the sea run like cloud tank.
Now, driving around in front of you now, ladies and gentlemen, probably what I would argue one of the best tanks ever made. This is the British Centurion tank that was first, the stipulation for it was put out in 1943. They decided back then at the time that reliability was going to be the first priority, because we were fed up in Britain of making tanks that seemed so unreliable, considered, well, compared to American tanks and certainly the German tanks as well. And they put firepower above protection and protection over mobility. These are all things that make up tanks. And the Centurion, they seem to get it right. They got a fantastic engine in the back. That again was the Meteor engine, as we talked about earlier, the Rolls-Royce Meteor. It started life with a 17-pounder, then a 20-pounder, and this version is underneath all this is a Mark 12 with the L7 105mm gun, and it went through 13 marks in British Army service. This particular one, technically, is, we should call it an AVRE, Armoured Vehicle Royal Engineer, because at the end of its life as a gun tank, it was also at one point used an artillery spotting tank by the Royal Artillery. They added fixtures to the front to put a dozer blade on, so it became a Royal Engineer variant. And it was in service well into the 90s. It was only handed over to the Tank Museum in 1998.
The Centurion really is a classic. If you go into the museum, if you've still got time while it's open, we've got one of the Mark 1s in there, a very early one, and we've got some others in our tank factory, including an updated previous one. They're amazing, especially what the Israelis and the South Africans have done to them over the years. It's nobody's business. They've really improved them beyond measure and brought them more up to date with more powerful engines, even revised suspension, and it makes a heck of a difference. It means the tank can keep pace with other developments going on.
One thing that was asked of us was when a tank goes through 13 marks, is that because they've got it wrong? And it's exactly the opposite. It's because they've come up with a design that can be improved on over time. And again, just like the Spitfire, it can go through quite a number of marks. 13 marks in British Army service, and as David mentioned, still in service. Some variants with the Israelis, they've converted them, and the South Africans call it the Oliphant, so they've still got theirs in service. From the outside, it looks very different. They've added extra armour, so it doesn't quite look the same. They've got new diesel engines in the back, but underneath it all is still a vehicle that, when you think about it, was designed originally back in the Second World War.
They tried to embody a lot of new ideas in it. It has, for instance, a reclining driver's position. The driver, when he's shut down and his hatch is closed, is on something that looks a bit like a sun lounger. He changes gear with his feet and steers with little sticks, one in each hand. And it's also got an internal lamp. There's no shield between the guns and the front of the turret. It's all happening inside. The tank is also got a gun, 120 that's then followed by the explosive charge, and it's in a canvas or a canvas bag, which is forced into the breech on half the ground, which when it goes off back, well, it comes whizzing out the front. Self-consuming, so you have no brass shell casing here, but apart from the tiny little cartridge case that they put in the breech. The Chieftain is very original. The drawback was it was fitted with a Leyland L60 engine. Now this is a vertical 6-cylinder 12-piston engine, vertically opposed, and it tended not only to drink oil rather thirstily, it also tended to break down rather alarmingly. They've more or less sorted it out now, but by now Chieftain's been replaced anyway. But in its day, it was not always a popular tank, because it was nasty having to breaking down at most awkward times.
Over 2,200 Chieftains were actually made, about 900 for the British Army. The rest was sold to the Middle East, and in the British Army it never fired its gun in anger. It sat out in the armoured regiments out in Germany during the Cold War, waiting if the Cold War had become a hot war, did its duty there, did its job. Certainly the Eastern Bloc forces never came west, so it did its job there, but it did see action in the Middle East, in the Iran-Iraq war. A number were sold to Iran, and in fact the Shah of Iran was ordering an upgraded version of this vehicle, which became, in time, the vehicle that's coming on now. When the Shah of Iran was deposed from power in the revolution, the Shia tank he had ordered from Britain to replace his Chieftains was taken over as a project by the British Army, and it became this tank, coming to one.
Reliable as the old Chieftain was. It uses hydrogas suspension rather than the old-fashioned slip-on suspension that is used with the Chieftain and the Centurion earlier on, was basically based on the horseman system, horizontal springs. Also it's got a number of features. It's really most interesting one though is the fact that it is built with chobham armour. This is what gives the tank its rather unusual flat appearance. You compare it to the quite a modern appearance and a brilliant performance.
This particular tank was commanded by Colonel, as he was then, Arthur Denaro in the Gulf, and we had the pleasure of, now General Denaro came down to the museum not so long ago, was filmed for a programme with this tank, and we also drove this tank a few years back around the Lord Mayor's Parade in London with the original crew, which was very good reuniting them, and we got their stories, which is another thing we like to do here, because don't forget we've got a big archive and library here at the Tank Museum, so it's not just about the kit, it's all about as well the men who served in those vehicles and the stories they can tell us. So this was actually his command tank during the Gulf War, and traditionally his unit's command tank was always called Churchill, which is what's on the side, as well as actually the crew names, they painted their names on the side. And that chevron is actually the recognition symbol for the British forces in the Gulf.
Hacks up at Bovington for years. We get them and they finish with them, and they really have no heroic story. A tank like that that's been in action has a tremendous story to tell, and especially since we know the names of all the crew, we can do a fantastic job with history of it when it's presented fully.
Now you've noticed as those guns, as those tanks were driving around, the guns are actually fully stabilised, which means that there's an automatic system there to keep the gun level when it's locked on a target, and that's really important because it meant this generation, Chieftain, first fully stabilised gun in British Army service, this was a generation of tanks that could fire on the move, and if you can fire accurately on the move, that's a great advantage over your enemy because it means you're such a harder target to hit. And one of the key things with the British tanks, and certainly the crews at this time, was accuracy. Training to make sure you could hit the target with the first round out to about 3 kilometres. They got very good at this. With Chieftain, about 93% accuracy with the first round on a target, tank size, out to 3 kilometres, and that's fantastically accurate compared to say
now we're going to show you one of the tanks which you'll be familiar with in the musical rock. This is the German, or West German as it was originally, Leopard 1 tank, actually 101. Fitted with the British 105mm gun. to let you. It's got 7 road wheels. If you compare that with most British and American tanks of the same era, they have 6 road wheels. Well, 7 is said to be the optimum number of road wheels that a tank should carry. And that's why the Germans, being very thorough, have got that much right. The tank's more like the armaments, other Western killers, the British counterparts anyway, but much more mobile, much lighter and faster, because the Germans went much on firepower with protection of fairly low priority. But you'll see here at once the draw of its exhaust as it accelerates.
That rumble of that thumping great MTU diesel engine in the back there, that was the key, because the Germans again went in the opposite direction of Britain after the Second World War. Their lesson from all those heavy German tanks like the Tiger, the Panther, the King Tiger, they thought no, they wanted to go in a different way. They wanted to go for mobility. Whereas the British Army, who'd suffered at the end of all those bigger, heavier German tanks, we went in the other direction. We went for armour protection and firepower. And so we went for heavy tanks, the Germans went for light and faster tanks with the Leopard.